Imagine a car so light you could practically push it with one hand, but built so smart it could outthink most mechanics of its day. Now picture that car sitting in a Berlin workshop, surrounded by cigarette smoke and paperwork, while its inventor argues that airplanes had it right all along. No, you're not hallucinating. This wasn't some sci-fi doodle. This was 1935, and the man behind it was dead serious. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the Maier Leichtbau, the featherweight marvel that tried to rewrite Germany's car story before the Beetle even hatched. Picture this: Berlin, 1935. Trams clatter down cracked cobblestones, posters shout about people's cars, and one soft-spoken engineer named Friedrich Eugen Maier is hammering metal in a rented shed that smells like oil, ambition, and sawdust. He's no ordinary tinkerer. Maier's an aviation man. He thinks like an aircraft designer: lighter, faster, stronger. And what he builds doesn't just roll, it floats. A sleek, rounded capsule of steel, the first self-supporting monocoque car body in Germany, rises out of that workshop like a dream with wheels. By the way, if you're the kind of person who loves strange, beautiful failures as much as I do, hit that subscribe button. Do it like you'd grab the last empty seat in a prototype car before history drives off without you. Now, let's step back to the mid-30s. Germany's racing toward modernization. Hitler's regime wants a Volkswagen, a car for the people. Simple, cheap, fast. Big names like Ferdinand Porsche are already whispering in government ears. But over on Sommeringstrasse, Friedrich Maier has no government backing, no factory, no propaganda machine, just a head full of patents and a belief that lightweight engineering could save the world. Maier didn't just design a car, he imagined a system, a whole new way of thinking about vehicles. He filed patents for an adjustable chassis that could raise or lower itself depending on road conditions. He dreamed up steering-linked headlights that turned with the wheels. He built a seat that could tilt, slide, and rise back when most cars treated comfort like an afterthought. And he did it all with a 692cc DKW two-stroke engine tucked neatly in the back. He named it the Leichtbau Maier, which literally meant light construction Maier. Simple name, radical soul. Under its smooth skin, the magic was in the bones. No heavy chassis. No wasted steel, just a curved shell strong enough to carry itself, the kind of design that wouldn't become mainstream until decades later. It could seat 4, reach about 60 miles an hour, and weighed less than most motorcycles of its day. When you opened the door, it felt like stepping into a glider cockpit, thin metal, clean dials, a seat that moved like something from the future. Every piece seemed to whisper, "I'm not a car, I'm an idea." At first, people laughed. Then they stared. Then, slowly, they realized Maier wasn't joking. He took the prototype on short test runs around Berlin. Journalists scribbled, engineers peered through the windows, and everyone wondered, could this be the people's car? But history had other plans. The Nazi government had already chosen its golden child Ferdinand Porsche's design for the Volkswagen. Maier's letters went unanswered. His patents were quietly buried in bureaucracy. His funding dried up. By 1939, his workshop was requisitioned for war repairs. The Leichtbau sat in silence, gathering dust as bombs fell over Berlin. After the war, the car was battered but alive, like an old pilot who had survived the crash. Its aluminum skin was dented, but the frame still held strong. Those clever headlights still turned. The suspension still flexed. It was almost as if the car refused to die stubbornly, holding on to the dream of a Germany that might have built smarter, not louder. While ordinary cars of the era were clunky steel boxes, the Maier Leichtbau looked streamlined, almost organic. Where others weighed a ton, this one floated. Where others shook over cobblestones, this one glided. And while Porsche's Beetle would go on to make history, Maier's design quietly proved it could have done the same, maybe even better. Modern engineers look back at his patents and shake their heads in disbelief. He did that in 1935? Today, the Leichtbau Maier survives carefully restored, often displayed at automotive shows like retro classics. It's valued not for luxury or speed, but for vision, one of the earliest examples of a self-supporting car body ever made. Not bad for something built in a Berlin shed by one man and his welding torch. Less than a Bugatti, sure, but far more priceless than any of us could afford in inspiration. You know you've touched genius when your ideas outlive your name. Maier may never have built his factory, but his thinking lightweight, aerodynamic, efficient, became the very DNA of modern car design. And maybe that's what real legacy looks like, not fame, but quiet influence. So, next time someone tells you the Volkswagen Beetle changed the world, tell them about the forgotten featherweight that almost did it first. And if you thought this was wild, wait till you hear about the German three-wheeler that had no reverse gear and no shame. See you in the next story.